Hello? Yes, this is Mrs. Addams speaking. Mama's cooking up a...
Ready for some spooky and kooky reveals? From improvisations to shocking set designs, here are top 10 facts you didn't know about the original Addams family.
Her name's Marie Antoinette. I chopped off her head.
No!
Number 10. The Addams Family was originally a cartoon. Not everyone knows this, but the Addams Family is a fascinating case study of cultural evolution, transitioning from single-panel cartoons into an enduring multimedia franchise. Did you know this fact? It certainly wasn't an easy feat to achieve, so you can appreciate this little story of origins and development. The Addams Family was created by American cartoonist Charles Addams in 1938. The single-panel cartoons first appeared in the New Yorker magazine. The cartoons were darkly humorous, portraying a macabre yet oddly wholesome family that relished the morbid. They contrasted sharply with the traditional depictions of American family life. There is also something interesting to note about the initial characters. Although they were unnamed at first, the family included recognizable members like Gomez, Morticia, Wednesday, Pugsley, and others. These characters were archetypes of Gothic satire, and it was only when they began to be adapted to television that they earned their names. The first major adaptation was a black-and-white sitcom aired on ABC from 1964 to 1966. Like we mentioned earlier, the series introduced names and personalities. Creator Charles Addams helped name characters like Gomez and Morticia and refined their personas for television. While maintaining the cartoon's dark humor, the show softened the macabre elements to appeal to a wider audience. The Addams Family became lovable eccentrics rather than unsettling figures. The theme song, composed by Vic Mizzy, became iconic. There is no doubt that the show established the family as a counterculture symbol of individuality and nonconformity. The evolution continued as the 1990s saw film and animated adaptations. Films like The Addams Family in 1991 and Addams Family Values in 1993 brought the family to life with a modern Gothic aesthetic and a satirical edge. Raul Julia and Angelica Houston delivered defining performances as Gomez and Morticia, respectively, while Christina Ricci's Wednesday became a breakout character. These films deepened the characters' quirks and leaned into darker humor while retaining their charm and heart. Several animated adaptations have since followed, starting in the 1970s and continuing with feature-length animated films in 2019 and 2021. These versions cater to younger audiences while preserving the family's essence. The Addams Family constantly mocked societal expectations, traditional family values, and suburban life, showcasing the beauty of embracing differences. There is also no doubt that the family evolves with the times, reflecting changing social norms. For example, the 1990s films celebrated goth culture and individuality. The 2019 animated films highlighted inclusivity and acceptance in a world of conformity, while Netflix's Wednesday in 2022 reinvented the franchise through the lens of teenage rebellion and mystery. So why has this show had a lasting legacy? Well, the Addams Family resonates because of its celebration of love, loyalty, and acceptance despite external oddities. Its Gothic Victorian-inspired visual style and dark humor remain timeless and influential, inspiring countless other media.
Kitty Cat likes to eat.
I like cats.
And this is my doll. Her name's Marie Antoinette. I chopped off her head.
Number 9. TV's first couple to promote an adult relationship. Morticia and Gomez Addams stand out as one of television's most groundbreaking couples in more ways than one. But as an interesting fact, we will highlight one aspect in particular, and that is the context of how they led the charge of promoting the idea of adult relationships in the 1960s. When their relationship debuted on the Addams Family TV series, their portrayal as a loving, passionate, and equal partnership was revolutionary for its time. It broke away from the conventional depictions of marital relationships. Morticia and Gomez were one of the first TV couples to display open and consistent romantic affection. From Gomez's incessant kisses up Morticia's arm to their flirtatious French exchanges, their love was vibrant and unapologetic. In the 1960s, TV couples were often depicted as restrained or distant. An example would be the separate beds in I Love Lucy. On the other hand, Morticia and Gomez defied this norm by showing that physical affection and passion could exist within a committed marriage. Their relationship emphasized mutual respect and admiration. Morticia and Gomez treated each other as emotional equals, respecting each partner's opinions and understanding that their desires held equal weight in their family decisions. Unlike many traditional TV couples where the husband dominated, Gomez often deferred to Morticia, valuing her judgment and ideas. Morticia, in turn, admired Gomez's charisma and loyalty, creating a balanced dynamic. For keen-eyed viewers, there was also something to note when it came to the subversion of gender roles. Contrary to what was popular, Morticia was an empowered matriarch. Morticia was portrayed as elegant, intelligent, and assertive, embodying a feminine strength rarely seen on TV at the time. She was not afraid to take charge while maintaining a nurturing and romantic persona. Equally contrary was Gomez's vulnerability. Gomez, though the patriarch, was often playful and openly emotional. This no doubt subverted the trope of the stoic, domineering husband. He worshipped Morticia without hesitation, showing vulnerability and devotion that was refreshing and endearing. Their dynamic not only entertained audiences, but also redefined what a married couple could look like on screen. You also couldn't miss the fact that Morticia and Gomez raised their children, Wednesday and Pugsley, in an environment of unconditional love and acceptance. They encouraged individuality and creativity, embodying a progressive approach to parenting that resonated beyond their Gothic facade. We believe their frequent and open communication, whether discussing family matters, expressing desires, or addressing challenges, sets a standard for healthy relationships. Above all, Morticia and Gomez's relationship provided a new model for marriage that celebrated love, passion, and equality. In an era when many TV marriages were portrayed as dull or contentious, they were a breath of fresh air. Their chemistry, portrayed masterfully by Carolyn Jones and John Astin in the 1964 series, became a hallmark of the Addams Family franchise. Later portrayals by Angelica Houston and Raul Julia in the 1990s films, as well as that of Catherine Zeta-Jones and Luis Guzman in 2022's Wednesday, built on this foundation. They stayed true to the original and kept their romance central to the story. Needless to say, Morticia and Gomez paved the way for later TV couples who broke traditional molds, so it is safe to say they influence how on-screen relationships are portrayed. Morticia and Gomez Addams remain iconic as one of the healthiest and most progressive TV couples of all time. Their relationship, filled with mutual adoration, respect, and passion, serves as a reminder that love can be intense, playful, and enduring, even in the most unconventional of families.
Who else do you know that's 110 volts? Watch. Beautiful. I can even make it.
Number 8. Protection of child actors. There is no denying that Uncle Fester is a beloved character from the Addams Family franchise. But did you know that he was not only significant for his eccentric humor and quirks, but also for the real-world role of protecting the rights of child actors? When it comes to child rights in the entertainment industry, Jackie Coogan, who famously portrayed Uncle Fester in the 1964 TV series, is the man to thank. Coogan's personal history is deeply tied to the rights of child actors, as his experiences as a child star led to landmark legal protections. Never heard this story? Well, Jackie Coogan was one of the first major child stars in Hollywood. He gained immense popularity for his role in Charlie Chaplin's The Kid in 1921. By the time he was a teenager, he had earned millions of dollars. Despite his early success, Coogan discovered that his parents had squandered nearly all of his earnings. When he reached adulthood and tried to access what he assumed was his massive earnings, he had little to show for his years of work. Coogan sued his mother and stepfather for mismanaging his earnings. Although he only recovered a fraction of his money, the case highlighted the lack of legal protections for child actors at the time. In response, California enacted the California Child Actors Bill, also known as the Coogan Law, in 1939. This law mandates that a portion of a child actor's earnings must be set aside in a trust, known as a Coogan account, until they reach adulthood. By the time Coogan was cast as Uncle Fester in the Addams Family TV series from 1964 to 1966, he had transitioned into a character actor. His portrayal of Fester brought him back into the public eye and cemented his place in television history. Coogan's role as Uncle Fester symbolized his ability to reinvent himself despite personal and financial challenges. For audiences, he became a reminder of the importance of protecting young talent in the entertainment industry. Uncle Fester was a source of comedic absurdity, often engaging in bizarre experiments and quirky antics. His lightheartedness complemented the dark humor of the Addams Family dynamic. Despite his oddities, Fester was a fiercely loyal member of the family, embodying themes of acceptance and unconditional love. These are values that resonate with the importance of protecting vulnerable individuals such as child actors. Coogan's unfortunate experiences as a child star led to significant reforms that continue to benefit young performers today. The Coogan Law is a cornerstone of child labor protections in entertainment, ensuring that children retain the fruits of their labor. We believe the story of Jackie Coogan and his contributions to child star protections remains relevant, especially in conversations about the rights and well-being of young performers in the age of social media and streaming platforms. Jackie Coogan's portrayal of Uncle Fester brought joy to millions, but his real-life legacy as a pioneer for child star rights is even more profound. His journey from child star to character actor reflects the enduring importance of safeguarding the rights and futures of young talents in the entertainment industry. Number 7. First TV family to own a home computer. Like we've been trying to hit, the Addams Family broke ground in many ways. Interestingly, one of these ways includes their depiction as the first TV family to own a home computer. Wouldn't you agree that this detail highlights their forward-thinking nature? It also proves how the show subtly addressed technological progress and societal change. Now let's dive into the details. In the original 1960s TV series, the Addams Family owned a computer named Wizzo. It was introduced in Season 2, Episode 12, titled The Addams Family Meets a Beatnik. Wizzo was portrayed as a multi-purpose device capable of solving problems, aiding family projects, and even composing poetry. True to the Addams aesthetic, Wizzo was not a sleek, modern machine, but rather an elaborate, whimsical contraption with blinking lights and levers. It truly blended technology with their Gothic style. Need any proof that this show was way ahead of its time? The concept of a home computer was futuristic in the 1960s, as computers were primarily associated with government or corporate use. By incorporating Wizzo, the Addams Family anticipated a future where technology would become a household norm. The Addamses' use of a computer fits seamlessly with their reputation for being unconventional and ahead of the curve. Their embrace of cutting-edge technology emphasized their individuality and rejection of societal norms. Wizzo symbolized the burgeoning era of technological optimism in the 1960s, when advancements like space exploration and automation captured the public imagination. By owning a computer, the Addams Family mirrored society's curiosity about the role of technology in daily life. While they owned a computer, the Addams Family used it in quirky, impractical ways like composing offbeat poetry or solving esoteric problems. This reflected a playful skepticism about whether technology could truly enhance human life, a question still debated today. Either way, the Addams Family certainly predates other depictions of personal computers in domestic settings, making them cultural pioneers in normalizing the idea of technology at home. The inclusion of Wizzo hinted at a future where computers would become integral to family life. Today, home computers are omnipresent, and the Addams Family's depiction feels prophetic. The Addams Family's Wizzo stands out as a milestone in the portrayal of technology on television, blending humor, creativity, and futurism. Their early embrace of home computing paved the way for later shows to explore technology's role in family dynamics. You can see this in later shows like The Jetsons and Knight Rider. The Addams Family owning a home computer is another example of how the show combined Gothic charm with progressive ideas. By incorporating Wizzo, the show not only entertained audiences, but also offered a glimpse into the future of technology in everyday life, underscoring the Addams Family's status as forward-thinking cultural icons.
You rang.
Number 6. Most iconic catchphrase was improvised. Most iconic might be a bit of a stretch, but the towering, deadpan butler of the Addams family, Lurch, is best remembered for his iconic catchphrase, "You rang." Interestingly, this line was not originally part of the script and was improvised. Yes, in fact, Lurch wasn't meant to say any words at all. So you can see how it adds an intriguing layer to the character's development and the show's production. Let's begin with the actor behind Lurch. Ted Cassidy, who portrayed Lurch, was not only physically imposing at 6'9", but also a skilled actor and musician. It was his deep, resonant voice and sharp comedic timing that brought Lurch to life. Cassidy's natural ability to play with dialogue and physical comedy allowed him to elevate Lurch from a minor character to one of the show's most beloved figures. This brings us to the origin of "You Rang." During an early episode, Lurch was summoned by the family using the iconic gong. Instead of delivering a scripted response, Cassidy improvised the line, "You rang," in a slow, deep, and sardonic tone. The delivery perfectly matched Lurch's stoic, understated demeanor and added an extra layer of humor to his interactions with the family. The cast and crew loved it, and the line became a recurring gag. "You rang" encapsulated Lurch's blend of servitude, sarcasm, and dry wit. Though he spoke sparingly, this catchphrase gave him a memorable voice and made his presence even more impactful. Cassidy often paired the line with subtle expressive movements, such as a raised eyebrow or a slow turn of his head, enhancing the humor without breaking Lurch's stoic facade. "You rang" became one of the most recognizable lines from the series, cementing Lurch's place in pop culture. It is still associated with the character decades later. The phrase has been parodied and referenced in countless shows and films, further solidifying its legacy. Lurch's catchphrase demonstrated how a single improvised moment could transcend its context to become a cultural touchstone. We believe Cassidy's improvisation highlighted the value of creative freedom in television. Moments like "You rang" show how actors can contribute to character development in ways that scripts alone cannot. Similar to other iconic TV catchphrases and moments born out of improvisation, this line exemplifies how organic creativity can enhance a show's appeal.
Time has stood still for you, Angelito mio. You look even lovelier than the day I first laid eyes on you.
Bubble.
Number 5. Carolyn Jones changed to become Morticia. We bet you didn't know that Carolyn Jones did anything to alter her appearance for the show. Well, that said, permit us to rock your world. She didn't just alter her appearance. The truth is, Carolyn Jones's transformation into Morticia Addams for the Addams family is one of the most iconic character metamorphoses in television history. Her portrayal of the glamorous, gothic matriarch required significant changes to her physical appearance, wardrobe, and even her mannerisms. Let's begin with a physical transformation. For one, we have the iconic wig. Carolyn Jones's natural hair was light brown, which contrasted sharply with Morticia's signature long, jet black locks. She wore a custom-made black wig styled into Morticia's sleek, straight look with a center part that added to the character's eerie elegance. Then, to get that iconic pale appearance, Jones's makeup featured a dramatically pale foundation to give her a ghostly, otherworldly appearance. Her eyes were emphasized with heavy eyeliner, false lashes, and deep shadows, creating a haunting yet seductive look. Her bold red lipstick provided a striking contrast against her pale skin, which we believe enhanced Morticia's gothic beauty. Moving on, Jones wore a corset under Morticia's dress to achieve her exaggerated hourglass silhouette. By emphasizing her waistline, her wardrobe helped create the character's ethereal elegance. Morticia's iconic wardrobe consisted of long, flowing black dresses with trailing sleeves and a fishtail hemline. The dresses were designed to resemble a spider web or the roots of a plant, reinforcing her gothic aesthetic. The tight-fitting dresses restricted Jones's movements, forcing her to glide across the set in small, deliberate steps. This added to Morticia's mysterious and almost supernatural demeanor. Morticia often wore minimal jewelry, but her outfits were accessorized with dramatic elements like a bat-shaped brooch or a rose with its thorns intact. If anything, we love that this was a nod to her love of the macabre. Now let's focus on her voice and mannerisms. Jones adopted a low, breathy tone for Morticia, lending the character a seductive and hypnotic quality. Her voice became a defining feature of Morticia's charm. Morticia's movements were deliberate and refined, often accompanied by graceful hand gestures, such as snipping rose stems or playing with her long cigarette holder. Jones used subtle, controlled expressions to convey Morticia's emotions. Somehow, she balanced her warmth toward her family with her cool detachment for societal norms. It is fascinating how Carolyn Jones fully embraced Morticia's dark, eccentric personality because it was a stark contrast to the bubbly, effervescent roles she often played in earlier films and television. Her dynamic with John Astin, who played Gomez Addams, was essential to Morticia's character. Their on-screen romance was fueled by Jones's ability to embody Morticia's intense passion and affection in a way that felt natural. Carolyn Jones's Morticia became a blueprint for gothic femme fatales in pop culture. Her look and demeanor influenced countless portrayals of dark, elegant women in the media. Wearing the tight corset, heavy makeup, and long gowns for extended hours on set was physically demanding, but Jones never let it interfere with her performance. Decades later, her transformation and performance remain iconic, inspiring adaptations of Morticia in future films. Number 4. The Addams family house was a real mansion. The Addams family's house is one of the most iconic aspects of the franchise, embodying the gothic charm and eccentricity of the titular family. What many fans may not know is that the house used for exterior shots in the original The Addams Family television series was a real mansion that has since been lost to time. The mansion used for the exterior shots was located at 21 Chester Place in Los Angeles, California. Built in 1888, the mansion was a prime example of Victorian architecture, featuring intricate details like steep gables, bay windows, and ornamental woodwork that fit the Addams family's Gothic aesthetic. The producers chose the mansion because its architecture matched the eerie, mysterious vibe needed for the Addams' home. Although the interior scenes were shot on a soundstage, the exterior of this real house became an iconic representation of the Addams family's spooky lifestyle. The house was slightly altered for the series through matte paintings and props to enhance its creepy, dilapidated appearance. For example, certain features like overgrown vines, broken shutters, and ominous gates were added to give the mansion its trademark haunted look. The interior of the house on the show was much larger and more elaborate than the real-life mansion. Eagle-eyed watchers would have noticed how the interior of the house on the show featured fictional rooms like a torture chamber and swamp. Interestingly, the mansion was not just a backdrop, but a character in its own right. It symbolized the Addams family's gothic, eccentric, and nonconformist values. Its distinct look and mysterious atmosphere inspired countless haunted house designs in popular culture. The house became a cultural touchstone, instantly recognizable as part of the Addams family's identity. However, by the 1960s, Chester Place was no longer the prestigious neighborhood it had once been. Many of the grand mansions in the area were repurposed or fell into disrepair. Even the iconic Addams family mansion was not immune to this decline. The mansion was demolished in the late 1960s, not long after the series ended. The exact reasons for its demolition were tied to urban redevelopment and the expansion of the University of Southern California, USC, which now owns the area. With its demolition, a piece of television history was irrevocably lost. At the time, there was little awareness or effort to preserve the house, as the cultural significance of the Addams family had not yet been fully realized. Later adaptations of the Addams family recreated the iconic house using sound stages and CGI, no doubt paying homage to the original structure's Gothic charm. You can see how the 1991 and 1993 films featured an elaborately designed mansion inspired by the TV series. The Addams family mansion set the standard for haunted or spooky houses in media, influencing designs in movies, TV shows, and even theme parks. The house's Gothic, unkempt beauty mirrored the Addams family themselves, unconventional, misunderstood, but full of warmth and individuality. The loss of the original mansion serves as a poignant reminder of how ephemeral cultural landmarks can be. While the house no longer exists, we believe its legacy endures through the franchise and its fans. If you made it this far, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any updates from us. Number 3. The Addams Family house had pink walls. One of the most surprising and counterintuitive facts about the Addams Family television series is that the famously spooky mansion, with its gothic and eerie vibe, actually had pink walls on set. This unexpected choice highlights the interplay between television production techniques of the era and audience perceptions. Now, your first question is probably, why pink walls? The show was filmed in black and white, so the actual colors of the set didn't matter to the audience. The visual focus was entirely on contrast, texture, and tonal values. The pink walls provided the optimal contrast for black and white cameras, creating the illusion of shadows and depth on screen. Other colors, like black or dark gray, could have appeared flat and uninteresting in grayscale. The brighter pink tones reflected light well, making it easier for cinematographers to create the proper eerie ambiance without sacrificing clarity. These tonal adjustments were a technical necessity for creating the atmospheric look the show demanded. Now, for the juxtaposition with the Addams Family aesthetic, let's just call it the gothic versus playful reality. The vibrant pink walls were the polar opposite of what fans imagined for the Addams Family's gloomy gothic mansion. This ironic behind-the-scenes detail underscores the artificiality of television production. The Addams Family's world was presented as macabre and unconventional, yet behind the scenes, it was built on practical, colorful, and almost whimsical design choices. The pink walls remind viewers that much of the gothic tone of the show came from the actors' performances, the set design's intricate details, and the audience's imagination, not just the color scheme. The lack of color in black and white television created a sense of mystery and timelessness, which complemented the Addams Family's macabre humor and oddities. Interestingly, viewers never questioned the colors of the walls, as the grayscale tones effectively conveyed the mansion's spooky vibe. Learning about the pink walls can be shocking for fans, as it challenges the mental image of the Addams Family home as dark and foreboding. This detail offers a humorous twist on the show's gothic aesthetic. The Addams Family was not alone in using unexpected colors on set. Many black and white shows used unconventional colors that translated better on screen. For instance, the walls of The Munsters were also brightly colored. Without color, set designers relied heavily on textures, patterns, and props to convey the mansion's creepy gothic aesthetic. The ornate furniture, cobwebs, taxidermy, and unique decor created the impression of a spooky, otherworldly home. The revelation of the pink walls has become a fascinating piece of trivia for fans, highlighting the artifice behind beloved shows. Despite the pink walls, the Addams Family home remains an enduring symbol of gothic charm and eccentricity. The technical choice did not detract from the mansion's place as an iconic cultural touchstone.
You have a keen eye.
Oh, the left one. What are you going to call it?
Spring song.
Perfect.
Number 2. Ted Cassidy played 2 characters. Though renowned for his role as Lurch, the Addams Family's towering and deadpan butler astonished fans by also playing Thing. Who can forget about Thing, the disembodied hand that became one of the show's most distinctive and mysterious characters? This surprising dual role not only demonstrated Cassidy's versatility, but also became an integral part of the Addams Family's legacy. His character balanced the macabre and comedic elements of the Addams Family, often acting as the silent observer of the family's antics. While Lurch was initially intended as a minor character, he eventually gained prominence due to Cassidy's performance, which resonated strongly with audiences. But of course, that wasn't his only character. Ted Cassidy as Thing was just as iconic. Thing served as an enigmatic yet helpful member of the Addams household, and the fact that its origins were never explained adds to its mystery and charm. Ted Cassidy performed as Thing for most episodes. His large, expressive hands added personality to the character. He gave the character its surprising ability to communicate emotions without words. Cassidy would often crouch behind props or furniture, extending only his hand into the frame. His skillful hand movements conveyed everything from surprise to humor with subtlety. However, on rare occasions, other crew members filled in as Thing when the positioning or schedule demanded it. But overall, Cassidy remained the primary performer. This dual role was not without its challenges. As Lurch, Cassidy used his entire body and voice to create a slow, deliberate character. As Thing, he had to distill his performance into intricate hand gestures, a skill that required dexterity and focus. In scenes where both Lurch and Thing appeared, Cassidy would film separately as each character, necessitating careful planning by the production team. Cassidy's dual roles showcased his range as a performer, proving he could breathe life into two entirely different characters within the same show. Thing's disembodied presence and Lurch's stoic demeanor contributed significantly to the surreal and whimsical atmosphere of the Addams family. Cassidy's work ensured both characters felt distinct, yet seamlessly integrated into the Addams world. Both Lurch and Thing became iconic symbols of the Addams family, influencing later portrayals of the franchise. While Cassidy's towering stature made him ideal for roles like Lurch, his work as Thing demonstrated his nuanced approach to physical acting. It remains a testament to his versatility and dedication. Number 1. The lining of Gomez's suit. There is no denying that Gomez Addams was a pivotal character in the Addams family. Would you believe that John Astin had to put his life at risk just to bring this towering figure to life? The shocking fact is that Gomez Addams' suit, which was worn during the filming of the Addams family, was lined with asbestos. Yes, asbestos. This is a startling revelation that highlights the safety practices, or lack thereof, in mid-20th century film and television production. Before we get into the risks, perhaps we should start with why asbestos was used during filming. You see, asbestos was often used in filming and television during the 20th century due to its fire-resistant properties. It was commonly employed in costumes, set materials, and props to ensure safety during scenes involving flames or sparks. In the case of Gomez Addams' suit, the asbestos lining was likely included to protect John Astin during scenes with open flames, such as when Gomez lit cigars or engaged in pyrotechnic stunts. Gomez Addams was always seen with a cigarette in hand or hanging in his breast pocket. So, to protect him from getting burnt, we imagine this was why asbestos was considered. Well, to be fair, the severe health risks of asbestos exposure were not fully understood or widely acknowledged at the time. Its use was considered a practical and effective solution for on-set safety, including asbestosis, lung cancer, and mesothelioma, another type of cancer. These diseases often develop decades after exposure. While the asbestos lining was intended to protect Astin from burns, it could have released harmful fibers into the air during filming. Given that sets were enclosed spaces, this may have posed a risk not just to Astin, but to the entire cast and crew. This presents the irony of safety and danger. The asbestos lining was added for safety, but its inclusion created a hidden and far more dangerous health hazard. This ironic contradiction underscores the lack of knowledge and oversight regarding hazardous materials in the entertainment industry at the time. The production prioritized practical effects and maintaining Gomez's flamboyant style of lighting cigars over potential long-term health consequences. At the time of the show's production, workplace safety standards were less stringent, particularly in Hollywood. Hazardous materials were often used without adequate safeguards. While there is no public record of John Astin suffering health consequences related to asbestos exposure from the suit, the risks were undeniably present. Today, the use of asbestos in any capacity would be considered unacceptable due to the well-documented health risks. The revelation about Gomez Addams' suit serves as a reminder of how far workplace safety and entertainment has evolved. While the Addams family was known for its dark humor and eccentric charm, this behind-the-scenes fact adds a layer of grim reality to its production history. So, what do you think? Do share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. You also can't miss the next video on screen.